Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. I'm Mike Amos on a cold Friday morning, and of course you can all you gotta do is walk outside for a brief moment and you can tell it is 27 degrees outside, so it's cold and freezing, and I hope that you got everybody warm this morning. You got the gas logs going. Boy, I tell you what, the gas logs I've got in my house, all I have to do is mash a button and I've got a fireplace, a clean fireplace, a clean heat, a beautiful fire in my fireplace. It does it all with one mash of a button, instead of having to fool with wet logs or somebody saying to you that, oh, there's smoke getting in the house or whatever, you know. I've yet to see a chimney that didn't cause a little smoke in the house. I've yet to see one, so if you know one, let me know. I'd like to know who built it. But I've been with gas for a long time. As far as my gas logs, they look just like a real fire in the fireplace, and like I said, no smell, no odor, no dirty wood bringing in and out, or wet wood bringing in and out of the house, and hear that somebody say, oh, you're getting the den dirty, or take those logs out of here, whatever. But I just wanted to mention also our good friends at First National Bank of Brundage today and Troy. And I want to say good morning to Jimmy Ramage, the chairman of the board, and of course the president and CEO, John Ramage. Great people, and appreciate them very much for being so supportive of our show. I want to mention my good buddies over at Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and of course a great selection of Ram trucks today at First Premier Bank, First Premier of Troy, and of course we appreciate them very much. And Premier of Troy.com, located on Highway 231 here in Troy. And I promise you, Jason and all the rest of the guys are dealing this morning with some great sales going on right now. They've got a Premier Troy.com final big sale of those 2018 cars, and right now you can get a car and drive it off the lot for $29.95 down, and of course right now no payments until 2019, which we're already in 2019. You buy a vehicle, they're gonna give you a Yeti cooler, 250 vehicles to choose from. Take home $350 a week. You can drive today, and of course no money down. And right now their specials are a 2018 Renegade Sport 4x4, $16,937. That's a 2018. How about a new 2019 Jeep Cherokee for less than $20,000, $19,452. And finally, the new 2019 Ram Bighorn Quad Cab, $29,988. And those sales go on and on and on at Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass right here in Troy. Troy's got a new coach in town, and no better way to salute him is in the messenger today. Chip Lindsey is the new head football coach at Troy University, and he'll be introduced today at 11 o'clock from the Stadium Club. And I don't know if there's any problem with anybody with you going and seeing this. You're a Trojan fan, and come and meet Chip Lindsey this morning at the Stadium Club starting at 11 o'clock. And, of course, he is the new football coach at Troy, and well-deserved. I've heard so many comments about him. One guy told me yesterday that he's one of the top offensive coaches in the nation and has one of the great offensive minds. So We lose a great offensive coach, and we gain a great offensive coach in Chip Lindsey. And Chip, I hope you're watching this morning from wherever you are. I know you probably haven't moved into your home yet, but if you're watching from one of the local motels, good morning to you, and welcome to Troy, Alabama. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A.
Hey, morning.
Where are you calling from, sir?
Birmingham, Alabama.
Birmingham. Well, you know who this Chip Lindsey is, then, don't you?
Yeah, I followed his career when he was at Troy in 2010, and then of course he left there and went to Spain Park, which is right down the road on 280, and coached there for a couple of years, and then went to Auburn as an analyst. And then after that, got the offense coordinator job at Southern Miss, and I think that's kind of what Troy fans need to focus on, is what he did at Southern Miss.
And what you
turned Southern Miss around.
Yeah. Are you the guy that called in and said that his total offense at Southern Miss was over 6,000 yards?
Yeah, that's right.
Say that again. Tell us about that.
Well, I mean, you can look at the stats. I mean, it was out on TroyTrojans.com, what they did. Of course, Nick Mullins is now playing for the San Francisco 49ers.
And that was the quarterback, and he was out of Clay Chalkville, or where was he from?
No, he was out of Spain Park. He coached Mullins in high school.
Oh, I thought Mullins was came out of Clay Chalkville, which has a great program up there, you know.
No, he came out of Spain Park.
Yeah. And, of course, that's the school that looks like a university, doesn't it?
Yeah, you know, Troy beat Mullins' Neil Brown's second year. He was still the quarterback there when Troy won at Southern Miss.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember that, in the rain. And he was a good one, too.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the 49ers signed Jimmy Garoppolo to about a $150 million contract. Of course, he got hurt. But Mullins has come in and done really well for him. And of course, you know, Chip Lindsey coached him in high school and coached him at Southern Miss. And I think too many people, I'm looking in the media, you know, different people are you know, questioning the Chip Lindsey hire, but they're just looking at what happened at Auburn this year.
Gosh,
you know, if you look at what he's done in all the other places, it's a no doubt hire to me.
He got a
and
nice...
then what he did at Auburn the first year, I mean, they beat Alabama, number one ranked Alabama, they beat number one ranked Georgia. I mean, Auburn had a phenomenal offense.
They sure did, and then of course they lost the big fullback, which hurt them a lot. If they'd had him and Johnson both in the same backfield that last year, they would have been hard to stop.
Well, they already were hard to stop just with Johnson.
I know, just with Johnson, no question about it.
I mean, Johnson doesn't get his shoulder hurt against Alabama in the Iron Bowl, you know, and then he goes in to play Georgia again in the SEC championship game and can, you know, barely run the ball because he's so hurt.
Yeah.
He had a good year for the Lions this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, Chip Lindsey coached this kid that went to Southern at Spain Park, and then he when he went to Southern Miss, they brought Chip with him, didn't they?
Oh yeah, Chip came as an analyst from Auburn to Southern Miss, coached for
from Auburn.
Mockin.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, he coached how many years at Southern Miss, and was he there when Jeremy McClain was there?
Yeah, he was there when McClain was there.
Well,
he was there at Southern Miss in 2014, 2015.
Well, let me just say this, Chip. If you're watching this morning, I knew you before you were a superstar. I remember when he and his young wife and 3 children walked in the First Baptist Church of Troy. I remember that very well. That was in 2010, and he made a real impression on a lot of people then.
Yeah, Southern Miss, this is the year in 2015, they had 6,758 yards.
That is that's got to be a record.
I mean, it was definitely huge numbers that year.
Yeah. And how much of that was passing? How much of that was running? Does it really matter?
Well, I mean, it says that it was 4,263 passing yards.
Yeah.
So that means there was at least 2,500 rushing yards.
Yeah. Well, I was told by a very reliable source, a guy I have a lot of respect for, that he has one of the best offensive minds in college football today. So he thinks we really got a steal when we got him as our head coach.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned this yesterday. His background, Springville, Alabama. Of course, that's right outside of Birmingham.
Did he play at Spring? No. He's from Huntsville, though, isn't he? He went to Bob Jones.
No, this is his coaching background.
Oh, okay. Springville's had some good teams, man, over the years.
Yeah, he coached at Springville High School from 97 to 98. Then he coached at Sparkman as assistant coach from 98 to 2000. Deschler from 2000 2004.
Deschler High School of Tuscumbia.
Then Florence High School from 2004 2005 as assistant coach. Then he was at a place I'm familiar with, Colbert Heights, Colbert County High School.
The home of the Wizard of Oz.
Newsom, yeah. So he coached there, and then he went to Hoover for just 1 year, where he coached under Rush Probst in 2007. And then in 2008, 2009, he coached at Lassiter High School, Georgia, head coach over there, a big school in Atlanta. Then he came to Troy as a quarterback coach 2010. Then he went to Spain Park for 2 years, 2011, 2012. And then he went to Auburn as an analyst, and then we mentioned he went to Southern Miss as the quarterback coach, offense coordinator from 2014, 2015. And then he was at Arizona State for 1 year as offense coordinator. He was at Auburn for 2 years as offense coordinator. And then he had taken the OC job at Kansas, but never actually coached. So you really don't even look at it.
Somebody taught,
Kansas.
Yeah. Every time I hear this, I built me a house. Well, he had just closed on a house, so that's how. He had not been actually set up in Kansas yet. And I'm sure it was tough for him to go in there and tell Les Miles that thanks but no thanks, Coach. I'm going to Troy to be head football coach.
Well, he was smart about it. He already had that in his contract, but there was no buyout for him.
Oh, great.
A head coaching job in Division I. So there was no issue there.
You're right. That's the rest of the story. You're exactly right. That's smart.
Yeah. He had a 4-year contract for $2.6 million at Kansas, so he was going to make over $650,000 a year as Kansas.
Pretty good job for an offensive coordinator, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in Kansas, of course.
And he calls the plays while Les Miles eats grass. Is that right?
I don't know if they have grass or field turf there. I don't know if he's going to.
I think they do. They have field turf. They have one of the prettiest logos Kansas did. Real good looking logo.
I mean, Kansas hadn't been good in football though since the 500-pound coach Mark Mangino was there.
Yeah, that's right. I remember him. Troy football players, after meeting their new coach, said they are impressed with Chip Lindsey, and since he has the same demeanor and priorities as his predecessor. Of course, a lot of people say that. And of course, he and Neil Brown were personal friends and came through about the same time. How old is Chip Lindsey, Mike?
You're right. When you said yesterday, he's 44.
44 years old, and that's how old you are. No, you're 42, though, aren't you?
42, yeah.
Well, I tell you, he's been around the block a few times. I like that,
Yeah, I'll say this. I mean, I like the coaching experience. I mean, and just like I was saying yesterday, I mean, it's basically the Neil Brown blueprint. Exactly. I mean, Neil Brown was a coordinator at Troy. Chip Lindsey was coordinator at Southern Miss, offense coordinator.
Yeah.
Then he was offense coordinator at Neil Brown was offense coordinator at Texas Tech and Kentucky. And then Chip Lindsey was offense coordinator at Arizona State, Auburn. So I mean, it's the same exact blueprint,
Yeah, it really is, no question. In fact, his coaching in the SEC at Auburn was
it was a bigger job.
Yeah, no question about it. Big news, ladies and gentlemen, and this right here did my heart as well as anything. Maybe my all-time. I've had some great favorite coaches. Larry Blakeney was a great coach, friend of mine. Of course, Chan Gailey and Rick Rhodes, and there's just been so many of them over the years that I
Charlie Bradshaw, all of them. go way back.
Exactly right. No question about it. But, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like my very good friend Shane Washington is coming back to Troy. He has resigned from his coaching duties at Faulkner, and it looks like this is not official because I haven't seen him, but they say that Shane Washington is coming back to the coaching staff at Troy, and he's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, I mean, he's a lot of Auburn fans' all-time favorite wide receiver too. He was a great college player.
Yeah, and of course, great coach.
Did a great job as a coach at Troy. And
how long was he at Troy, Mike? I bet he was at Troy 15 years. When you say how long, would you say?
He's definitely at least 11 or 12.
Of course, he coached the receivers. He coached the special teams. He's one of those coaches like Larry, no, not like Larry Blakeney as much. Nothing personal with Larry. I love Larry Blakeney, and what a great coach he was. But he's sort of like Johnny Williams. He didn't have to raise his voice to coach. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I guess we got to see.
And he didn't have to be profane either, you know?
I guess we'll see today exactly who's staying on the staff and who's going. That's going to be interesting today at the press conference at 11 at the field house. I mean, I'm sure a lot of fans out there are hoping some of these coaches will stay around. You're hearing names like that. Maybe Chip Lindsey will confirm all that today. And I'm sure some of these coaches will be there for the press conference.
Yeah, and hopefully, in fact, sure.
This is open to the public, so anybody out there listening right now can go to that press conference today.
And Steve, I hope Steve's listening, that we need a camera there at 10:30 today, because this is big news, and it's something
we need to support the new coach, and
we can show it year round too, all the way up till next football season, because everybody will get a good look at the new head football coach and what he thinks, and there'll be also a call-in opportunity if you're there to ask questions to Chip Lindsey. And I hadn't talked to my buddy the Wise boys, but I'm sure they're solid supporters of Chip Lindsey. I should have gone through them though, and we should have gone through them first, don't you think?
What are you talking about? Through the Wise? What are you talking about?
Lane and Lyle. They're our Auburn residents across the street.
Yeah.
Good friends of mine. And of course,
I will say this. I mean, if you go on Facebook or any social media, I mean, there's fans still in mourning over Neil Brown leaving.
Man. Now, you know what?
It's amazing the impact he had on the community. I was shocked. I mean, I'm seeing people that I didn't even know even cared about Troy, like posting stuff about
how
great he was and how
you
great
can go. You can go online right now and hear his press conference at West Virginia.
I saw it yesterday. They got off the plane, him and his family, and they were greeted at the airport, and tons of fans were there, and the mascot, the guy with the I guess what is it, a coonskin hat?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, was he there?
And the gun, or whatever, he was there.
Yeah.
And the musket or whatever, he was there. But anyway, they got out and there was snow everywhere, and like people were making comments they got to start wearing warmer clothes.
Oh yeah, no question.
Everybody was saying beautiful family, and this is going to be the greatest thing ever. I mean, West Virginia fan base is going crazy for Neil Brown.
Well, he is a sharp guy, and it was very impressive. One of the first thing he did was tell the folks what a great place Troy was, and how much he learned at Troy, and how much his family loved Troy. And I thought it was a good way to start his press conference.
Yeah, I mean, it was he's a class act, and the way he left was a class act, going and speaking at the arena.
You're right.
Halftime of the basketball game. I mean, all that was really classy what he did.
It's got to be exciting, for Vic Koenig. It's got to be exciting for Matt Moore, and also our quarterback coach Mike is going with him. Yeah,
he's Coach Reagan and Neil, I think work well together, and that doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, I think if you're going to take the guys, you're going to take your coordinators. So taking Matt Moore, taking Vic, and then taking your quarterback coach, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it does.
Now do you go after Jalen Hurts? Do you get that competition?
Now you go after Jalen Hurts. You're right.
I was really shocked in the press conference at West Virginia yesterday. Neil Brown mentioned that they're the 15th winningest program in college football history.
That was really surprising.
I had no clue of that.
And bless his heart.
I know Neyland won over 200 games, but he was at Bowling Green before he went to West Virginia.
He goes from a pretty good salary of $815,000 to a 6-year contract for $19,000.
No, $19.1 million.
I mean, excuse me, $19 million.
Yeah, if he's going for $19,000.
6 years. I'm looking at it wrong. 6-year, $19 million contract, which is do the math, over $3 million a year, and so he is your newest millionaire, Mike, in the country.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that coach college football.
That's right, and of course, this is what college football offers, and let me tell you this: hey, I want Chip Lindsey to stay here forever, but if Chip Lindsey tears the football world on fire, and he gets an opportunity to go to a major college deal, I have no problem with it. He did what we wanted him to do at Troy, was win.
Yeah, I mean, you want this to be like an Arkansas State situation like it was a few years ago where you had,
Yeah, tell us about that. People sort of turn their nose sometimes up at some of these
Hugh Freeze, had great teams at Arkansas State. He went to Ole Miss. Malzahn came over and took over and had great teams. Or one great team and came back to Auburn as a head coach, and then you had Brian Hartson, had good teams.
Might be the best one in them all.
He ended up going to Boise State, and now Blake Anderson's been there for about 4 or 5 years. But that's what you want. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm going to be shocked if we don't win at least 10 or 11 games next year. Troy is loaded.
Oh gosh, Mike. Chip, I hope you're not watching this morning.
No, I mean, I think any coach that would have stepped in is going to be able to win that many games. Troy's loaded.
Mike, listen, man. Hey, you know better than that.
Hey, I guarantee you, Troy's going to be free season to win the Sun Belt.
Oh boy.
But there's a lot of things that happen with a first-year coach. I mean, you're going to lose some games you probably should win.
And I know, people think that the Gulf South Conference is a stepping stone, and also.
You mean the Sun Belt?
Well, Sun Belt. What did I say? Oh God.
Conference.
The Sun Belt Conference is a stepping stone for a lot of coaches, and rightfully so. But at the same time, I think the Sun Belt Conference is getting more and more competitive, Mike. I don't know if I'd like to open up with Troy or Appalachian State or Arkansas State. Would you want to do that?
I don't know. Arkansas State was pretty pathetic this year. I'll say this. I mean, Appalachian State coach Satterfield gets the Louisville job, and then Neil Brown gets the West Virginia job. So this is definitely a banner year of coaching.
Well, to me, Neil got a better job, don't you? I would think that. I would think
West Virginia's a better job than Louisville. Louisville's basically coming off a 2-win season, and their whole athletic department's in turmoil.
And that's what gets me. And also,
West Virginia was 8-4.
And my pizza guy in Louisville is.
He's done with the program.
And he, to me, was one of the great parts of the program. He was so well known, and he promoted the program so well.
Yeah, they're dropping the name and everything. He got in a lot of.
You mean the
problems off the field?
You mean the stadium's not named after him anymore?
Yeah, they're taking everything out when it comes to Papa John's.
With Papa John's Stadium, it wouldn't bother me if Troy, if they could bring in a big money person to let them do that.
Well, we had Movie Gallery Stadium for I think a couple more years, even after they went under. So.
Exactly right.
We had that. A lot of people talk about that. Poor showing my Troy basketball last night on the road. Wasn't expecting this.
They got beat.
Troy goes to Little Rock, who's only 6-10, 1-2 in the Sun Belt, and Troy gets beat by 14 points.
Oh, me.
By 6 and 10 school, and
well.
very, very, very discouraging. You think this Troy team has turned a corner when they beat Western Kentucky on the road and beat UAB for the first time ever in Birmingham, and then they have to suspend Bernardo against Coastal Carolina, but then they come back and beat Appalachian State. But
you know what?
Troy is basically Jordan Bernardo. Jordan Bernardo last night, out of the 59 points, scores 26 and has 11 rebounds.
Yeah.
So he did his part, but Troy is really struggling getting consistent play from their guards. And if you can't have that, you're going to lose a lot of games.
You're right. And I hate it for Coach too, because you gotta